All right, welcome everybody to day 63 of the AWD1115 database-driven website development 2 class. Today we're going to continue on with chapter 16. Now, I'll explain to you exactly what we're going to be doing today and probably for the rest of the week. All right. I'm going to jump right into this. I'm still trying to figure out the error that I had yesterday at the end of chapter exercise, but I'm not going to worry about that. All right. You are going to have assigned for the rest of the semester this problem right here, which we're going to attempt to start doing as a class in a couple minutes. Also, so that's project 16-1. What I did this morning was I didn't know if there were any of you who had not finished this one, so I sent you my working copy of the quarterly sales app from 11-1. I shouldn't say that. What I did was I put a private GitHub repo out there and I gave all of you access to it. All right, so that's the first thing. I'm going to ask that you try to do assignment 16-1 for the case study. Now, there's really not that much to it. What they're saying here is the admin functions are only available to users who are logged in as an admin. Okay, that's fine. So, as you says, anonymous users can go to the home page, the about page, and the register page, and the login page, and that's it. If they go to any other page, that should display the login page. Well, you know how to use the decorators to do that. That shouldn't be very difficult. Second, if the user enters a valid username and password into the login page, the website should redirect them to the page they originally tried to get to. If the user is authorized to view that page, otherwise they get an access denied. So in other words, if it's a quote regular user and they attempt to go to a shopping cart page, no problem type of thing. Not shopping cart here, I guess, but whatever. Next, the nav bar should display login and register links to anonymous users and a log out link with a welcome message to authenticated users. So again, you can take a look at the example that we started going through yesterday on the one that's in the book for that. Fourth, only an admin role should be able to access admin pages. Fifth, only authenticated users should be able to access the update incident page. Finally, on startup, the app should add a user with a username of admin and a password of password, as you can see there. What I'm going to ask, this is my plan. Today, we're going to work on this. Tomorrow, we're going to work on that. And if necessary, Thursday, we're going to work on that. Then this weekend, I am going to attempt to come up with the fix for that end of chapter exercise. We may go over that, we may not. But starting Monday of next week, we're going to jump back into the project and make sure that everyone knows exactly what you're supposed to be doing with that. We'll do that on Monday and if necessary on Tuesday. What I'd like to do either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week is to go over chapter 17, where we attempt to put some of these projects out onto the internet. All right. So like I said, that's my hope. Now it's going to be interesting. I'll explain why when we get to that point. All right. Then come probably like Thursday of next week, I want to see if people have had a chance to look at this case study and see if they have errors, issues, problems with it. And if so, we'll look at those. All right. If we can get all that stuff done next week, and we'll see. If we can get all that stuff done next week, then the next week, which is like the week of the 10th or something like that, would be lab for the entire week for you to work on your projects. What I'm going to ask is your final project would be due then 3 weeks from tomorrow, the second last day of, which is I think it's the 20th. Yeah, the 20th of December. All right. So, like I said, 3 weeks from tomorrow. And I'm going to ask that you try to do, like I said, this last case study and this one that we're going to be working on together. Those will be due the previous Sunday, the 17th. So what I'm going to try to do is to make sure that you have at a minimum lab the week of December 11th and lab the week of December 18th. So you'll have a minimum of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days to work on everything that's going to be due. Now, some of this stuff is probably going to take a while to grade. Plus, they gave us all new things that we have to do for our student outcome assessments. So that Thursday, the 21st, I'm not planning on having class that day. And that is the last day of class. So the last time I could literally accept anything from anybody would be like at 8 o'clock in the morning on the 22nd. But I'm hoping you can have all your work in by midnight on the 20th. That'll give me plenty of time to grade it. All right. All right. Let's see. So I guess with that said, let's look at this. All right. This is going to be what we're going to update for 11.1, making it our 16.1 project. What we're going to do is one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to go into app settings.json and make a new database for this. So rather than using quarterly sales, we'll have like quarterly sales 16, we'll call it, because that's the chapter we're working on. So if you log in as an anonymous user, you can see the homepage and you can register or log in, but you can't do anything else. If you have logged in successfully, but not as an administrator, but as a user, you're able to see the homepage, you're able to add your own sales or log out. If you're logged in as an administrator, you're able to add sales, you're able to add employees, and you're able to manage users, as you can see on the page right there. So these are our specs. The app should provide a way for users to register and log in. You've already seen that. When registering, the user must provide a username and a password. The criteria are shown right there. I don't think I have to read them. All right, this is all the rest of that's left here. Anonymous users, again, can view sales data but can't add sales or add employees. Authenticated users can add sales, but only authenticated users in the admin role are able to add employees. All right. On startup, as it says, it should create an admin user with admin and that password. Anonymous, this nav bar. Authenticated users should have this nav bar. Authenticated users, admin should have this in that nav bar, as we already looked at. The manage user page, as it says there, should allow a user in the admin role to add users, delete users, assign and remove them from the admin role. It's pretty much everything we just went over. Now, again, I'm going to go in and right away, I'm just going to bring up my copy. This is the one I'm going to work off of for chapter 11. So there it is. It's called quarterly sales. Now, what I hope to do today is to get the brunt of stuff done in our models folder. Right now, this is what's in our models folder. We have to add a boatload of stuff. When we get done in here, there's going to be, in addition to the validation folder, there'll be 5 more folders that'll have information in them. So with that said, I'm going to bring this up and we're going to get started. So if you've got your own working version of chapter 11, cool, bring that one up. Otherwise, you can bring up the one that I gave everybody a copy of, or I should say access to. So just so you're aware of a couple things, if I bring this one up now and run it, This is what it looks like. And anybody can come in and add sales or add employees. Again, we want to remove that. Okay, so this is what we have, and you've already seen where we want to get to. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do in here is I'm going to come into my models folder, and I'm going to open it up. And what you see in there right now, let me close this, is I have one folder in there called validation, and I've got my context file, one view model, all right, an employee, which is going to be a table, sale, which is going to be a table. The error view model, again, we're just pretending it's not there. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is come into models in here, and we're going to add the remaining folders that we need. So I'm going to come into models, do an add, new folder, and the first one we're going to add is data ACCESS. So there's the first folder, data access. We'll put stuff in it in a bit. Then we're going to add another folder under models, and we're going to call that domain models. All right. The third one we're going to come in here and add, I'm doing them in alphabetic order. The third one we're going to add is going to be another folder called extension methods. All right. The fourth one that we're going to add is going to be called grid. We already have the validation folder, so we're going to add one more folder in here. And that other folder that we add is going to be our view models folder. So there are our 5 folders. All right, I'll give you a second. Even if you say you've got it done, great. But I'll give everybody a second because I don't want to go too fast. But we're going to fill them up in the order in which I have them here. So we're going to next go into the data access folder and fill those up. Again, this morning, I went and I lectured for 2 hours, and by the end of that, basically, I had no more voice. So I'm planning on this being somewhere around 2 hours from now as well. I'm sitting here sucking on water and doing the best I can, so let's get going. All right. So the first thing we're going to put in here under data access, we're going to end up adding 7 files. And the first one we're going to be adding is going to be, we're going to go to a new item, and we're going to go to interface. And this one is going to be called iRepository.cs. That'll be the first one. Some of these files are very, very short. Some of them are not. All right. So this is an interface. We are going to make one change in here. We're going to say of type T, and then we're going to start adding. And this is a very short file. Let's see, what doesn't it like here? We're going to make a query options class, so don't worry about that. If that gives us an error, don't worry about it. Then our CRUD operations. Oh, just let that fill it in for me. and a void save. Now we've done this kind of thing before. All right. We're setting this up saying that the next thing that we're going to build in here, which is going to be our repository.cs, that's going to provide all of the CRUD operations that we need. Insert, update, delete. All right. And in this case, save as well. I guess get would be the first. Okay. So like I said, we've got an error right there. I believe that that error is literally going to go away in a couple minutes. So since we have an interface, probably the best thing to do next would be to save. All right. And under data X, I'm going to add, and this will be a class, not an interface. So I'm going to add a new class, and this class will be repository.cs. Okay. Now, we don't have query options yet. We'll do that one next. Okay. Or pretty close to next. So in here, again, fortunate, unfortunate, but some of this is going to require a bit of typing. All right. So what do we want in here? Well, we want to start by saying public class repository like we have, but we're going to add the T into here, which again just means that it'll handle different types. Oops. And we want to say that basically it implements iRepository T where T is some kind of a class. All right. So we've got that. What does that mean? That means we have to implement the interface. Now, I can click this here and it's going to put all that stuff in for me. I'm just going to leave the error up and just start filling the stuff in myself. You can do it either way. As you know, it doesn't matter. All right. Now, the next thing we want to do is we want to come in and we want to work with our context. And we called our context, if you remember, sales context. And if you don't remember, there it is. All right. So we're going to come in here. And we're going to create a property. All right. And we're going to have a private. This is going to be our DB set, and we want to be able to do work with our DB sets in here. So again, we set up like that. All right. I'm not going to worry a lick in here about these warnings because I don't want to spend the time it's going to take to fix all of them. All right. So let's put in our constructor. You may know this, you may not, you may care, you may not. There is a shortcut that when you put in a constructor, you can type in CTOR and hit tab, and it makes a constructor for you. All right. Some people like that. I don't see where it really buys you all that much. Plus, we have to come in here and say sales context. We've been using CTX most of the semesters, so. Context is equal to CTX, and DB set will be equal to, not that, to context dot set T. All right. Now we're going to come in, we'll add a couple variables. What we do, we're going to have to add our get, our insert, our update, our delete, and our save. Okay. Nice, Jeff. Now, again, we've got here this double question mark operator basically is telling us if there is a count, if there is a count right now, set that to count. If there is not one, set it to null. But that will keep that from basically breaking down if there isn't anything in there. Now we're getting two errors here. All right. Now notice not all paths return a value. We'll fix that. All right. So that'll be fixed, but we still haven't made the query options yet. I guess we maybe should have done that one first. Now we're getting an error here because we haven't created a method yet called build query. All right. We're going to create that in just a moment, a little later in here. All right. Let's double check and make sure there's nothing wrong in here. I know this will be fixed in just a moment. Okay. All right. Alt. As far as I can see, everything looks good. So Well, hopefully you're still there. My internet connection dropped, and
Yes, I'm here.
I'm hoping it's back up now. Well, I guess we'll see. It says, "Oh dear, your call has dropped." Please try again. Rejoin. Are you
I'm here.
there?
I can
All
hear
right.
you. Yeah.
All righty.
I don't see your screen yet.
That's okay. We'll get that up. It says it's still recording. I guess we'll see if I have that first half hour or not. This is what I hate because I'm not sure if it's recording or not, but it says that it is. It's got time here and it says that it's recording. All right. Now, I'm not sure where you are in here, but I'm hoping that you're up to the top of this build query that we're writing right in here. So I'll give you a second to catch back up. Like I said, normally when it does that, it cuts out for about 5 seconds and then it comes back. It didn't there, as you could tell.
Yeah, I'm actually caught up now. I was in that second for each statement when you dropped out.
All right, so you've got this.
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Well, doesn't like either one of these. Is correct. Son of a gun. Specifying the type argument specifically. Order by. All right. It's choking on everything I'm putting here after query. I don't know why. Didn't mind it there. Just want to see something here once. I'm hoping that when we write the query options, that will fix this. All right, we'll see. Let me know when you're caught up, or if you're caught up, please.
I'm caught up, thank you.
All right. Then next, let's do the query options, which will be a class. So I'm going to do a file save on here. I mean, some of this stuff is just so far out there. Public expression functions. E object ordered by. All right. It needed the using system.link.expressions there. We'll set the default direction to ascending, because that's typically what you'd want anyway. What functionally here? And that is correct. Oh, oops, that's probably why. Okay, that fixed that. Looks like there's one more error in here and maybe a couple warnings, but I'll get back to the bottom. So let me know when you got it all in there, please.
I'm caught up, thank you.
Good. All right, so let's take a look at this from the top. Ending, page number, page size. Got that include in there. That should be an S, which is probably why it broke. No, maybe not. All right, bracket includes, public string includes, set. That should be a lowercase I. There we go. This is probably has to be an S as well. So that is everything as far as the errors in there. So we talked about this before, that when you want to take something and you want to take a list and split it so that it's in a string rather, and split it so that it's an array, or go in the other direction. So you're able to run some array functions and or some string functions on it. All right. But the hope is, after you've got those changes in there, you don't have any more errors on here. Again, I'm still getting some warnings about, and they're all on the non-nullable stuff. All right, I'm going to save this. I'm going to go back to my repository, and it looks like all of my errors, other than maybe one here, are gone. Doesn't like this page by. So we're going to look at that next. And in the I repository, well, now that's gone. Now there's no errors in there, and there's just one error here. All right, so I'm going to bring that back. That's the repository.cs file. Query equal query.page by options.page number, page size. That is correct. So it says iQueryable T does not contain a definition for page by. Oh, it should. And I'll make you a bet that if I remove this and type in query dot, that one of the things that'll, no, it's not showing page by here. All right. So let's see. Entity framework core. I don't think that these will help. I'm going to put in a couple more using statements, but I don't think they're going to solve this problem. So let's see. First of all, it says I'm not using this, so I can remove it. Add that in there when I did it. And add that in there, but that did not fix the problem here. Paging. Well, I'll tell you what, for now, just because I want us to eventually be able to try to compile this, I'm going to take that line and I'm going to comment it out for right now. All right. We're not done, but like I said, I want to do that. So far we made the iRepository and the repository, and we made the query options. All right. Let's make a couple more here. So let's come and make an I unit of work and then a unit of work that'll implement that. So let's do a file save all here. Go back in here to data access, add a new item, which will be an interface. Didn't want to do that. So let me remove that. So add new item interface. This will be I unit of work .cs. It's very short. We have employee. There it is. And we have sale. There that is. I think it's because I don't have no. Nope. Generate. Oh, I spelled it wrong. Good golly. There we go. All right, so that's done. Let's do the unit of work next, which is not too long. The funny thing is that virtually all the stuff we're doing right now is all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes. All right, but it's just, again, a lot of it's not boilerplate, but a lot of it is just stuff that you have to add. And of course, this will implement our I unit of work. Okay. We're getting that error again because we have not yet implemented all of the methods of the interface. We'll do that again like this. CTX. Look. And we're gonna make one similar to one we just made up here, but this one will be for sales. Trying to figure out, I had an S in here. I'm not sure why. That's not gonna match anything. That's all of it, but I gotta figure this out right here. Oh, sales. Yeah, it should be sale. There we go. Believe that's all correct now. Are you all caught up with me?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. So far we have written in here in this data access 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. All right. I'm double checking against my master copy here, so. I believe what we have left is our context file, which we'll just move over because it's already out there, and our sales query options. So let's do that one right now. We'll move the other one over, then we'll take a break. Let's close all these. Now we haven't made any of this stuff yet, so we're probably going to get some errors here.
Mr. Scott, are you still there? Mr. Scott, are you there now?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Okay. It's trying to connect here, it says.
Okay.
I have
I
not
can
had
see your
this.
screen actually.
You can see my regular screen?
Yeah, I see your code now.
Okay.
So, let's see, I was on the line 32, I guess, or that else if statement, those last couple, that's where you, uh, lost the connection, was after the is sort by employee.
So you have all that now?
I'm just finishing it up now.
Okay.
I think I got it now. Thank you.
All righty. Right. That's it for that one. So the only thing left to do in data access is to move our sales context file into there. Now that can be a little quirky. So what I like to do is to copy it. So I'm going to right mouse click, choose copy, go up to data access and choose paste. Now it should be in there now, but I want to double check. So I'm going to close, make sure that everything is closed and open it up right here. That looks good. So now I can remove the other one. All right, and bring this one up. All right, now I don't know, let's see. Sales context. There's going to be things that we're going to have to do here. All right, we're not going to do them yet, but we're going to do them in just a bit. And that is, for example, we're going to have to make that identity And we're gonna have to add some stuff that's in here. But it is 1:10. We've been going over an hour. So let's take 10 minutes, please, and come back at 1:20. Thanks. All right, sorry about that. I just got a phone call that them getting work done on my car, and they said the front brakes are going. So that's 500 more bucks. All right. So let's come in here and start making some of these changes then. So I'm going to come in here and put in, oops, identity. It's going to throw that. And I need, it says generate identity DB context in a new file. No, install. Yeah, we have to install that package. The, so let's go back into here. I want to browse. I don't want to install. I believe it's, and I don't have my book right now. Let's see if we can find it in here. I'll find it in the online version. Come on, I know it's in here. ASP.NET core.identity is probably it. That looks like it right there. ASP.NET core.identity. All right. Try to put that in, install that. Accept. Errors, but that's at least one is from that sales grid builder. So I'm not going to worry about that right now. All right. Go back to sales context. All right. Oh, user. Oh, you know why? Let's see. Let's see. Identity. Yeah. Public sales context. That's correct. That's all correct. Core dot identity using Microsoft dot ASP.NET Core identity dot entity framework core. So we'll probably have to add that one too. All right, it doesn't like that. So let's see. It's the one we just added here. This one, isn't it? No, we just added identity. All right. So as of right now, we've got installed the Microsoft ASP.NET Core Identity, but find the one that is Core Identity.Entity Framework Core. Now I'm getting some errors in here. I'm not worried about those right now. Okay, so let's close these. I want to close that one, of course, but I did. All right. Still doesn't like something that's in here, so let's check. ASP.NET Core dot identity dot, still not picking that up.
Yeah,
All
mine
right.
didn't install either.
Yeah, I think that this one that we added, we didn't need. I think that I grabbed the wrong one. It won't hurt anything, but I'm going to browse in here for identity dot entity framework core. That's the one we need here. Microsoft.ASP.NET Core .identity .entity framework core. Would you give me a flippin' break? Yeah. Son of a gun. Let's see. Entity framework core we need. ASP.NET Core identity we need. We should be picking up now Microsoft ASP.NET Core identity entity framework core. I thought that's what we just added.
Mr. Scott, I found an error in my error list that I think relates to this.
Okay.
It says that the package identity.entity framework core 8.0 is not compatible with net
That
7.0.
very well could be. All right. So let's look at that. Let's see. So let's go back to tools, NuGet package manager, manage NuGet packages. All right. So the ones, that one we need, and that one should be okay. It says 2.20. That one, of course, we've been using. That we've been using. So let's see. Yeah, I don't even think it actually did it in here. So let's go back and look at that. So I'm going to browse again for ASP.NET Core .identity .entity framework core. There it is. Okay, now, like you said, that's the problem. And the other one was using like version 2.2. So we'll have to go way down and see if that's even in there. Of course, it says deprecated, which doesn't typically mean good news. But let's try using 2.2 that's there and see if it'll install it. Now look, notice it went back to the latest stable version. Well, that did remove the error from here. We still have an error here for user. says generate class user. I know what that we fit. User in our domain models. I don't think we've got one in our domain models right now. All right. We've got sales and we've got, we don't have it. Let's just put it that way. Okay. So leave that as it is. Public sales. That now looks good. That looks good. DB set sales, DB set employees. Okay. On model creating. That's good. We need to put in that baseline. So right here, after the override on model creating, you need to put in that line right here, not this one that of course, that they put in. Based on model creating model builder. All right. And I'm not actually feeling bad now because there's only two errors. One is user, which we should be fixing very, very quickly. And the other one is that sales grid builder, but we haven't done that one yet. If we get out of here today and we have just one or two errors, it's because of stuff we haven't created. I don't feel that bad. All right. So we've got what? Lovely, Catherine Johnson, Grace Hopper, and then we've got our sales. All right. So we have to come down here. Now we don't have what we're going to do right now, just so you know. We don't have to do it yet, but it's something we do have to do. So what am I telling you? Well, that right down here, after we finish this and this, we're going to come in and add some stuff where we're going to create our admin user. Because remember, one of the things we were told was when this starts up, we want a user in there that's going to have a username of admin, a password of P@SSW0RD, and a role name of admin. And we actually do need to make it now because guess what? That person will be referred to as user. So come down here, make sure that you're not here. That's going to end this. And make sure you're outside of here, which is going to end our on model creating. So after the end of on model creating, type this in. It's about 20 or 30 lines. Move this over. This down. All right. Yeah, it is still going to give us errors. Okay. User manager, user manager, service provider, get required service, user manager, user good. All right, this is going to be fraught with errors and we're going to fix it as soon as we're done. So when this starts up, whoops, what should be happening here is when this starts up, we're going to be creating a brand new admin. All right. And that person will have that username, that password, and that role name. We want to make sure that when the program starts, we're able to actually perform administrative functions. So if we didn't do this, we couldn't do that. All right. So if the role doesn't exist, we want to come in and create it. If the username doesn't exist, we want to create it and add it to the role. So that's what's left in here, about 10 lines or so. Now it's still giving us this error because we don't have something that is called, excuse me, something that is called user. So we're going to do that next. All right. We got just a couple warnings in here, and that's not, I mean, a couple errors rather. That's not terrible. So file, save all. And so we've got everything now into our data access. So next will be the next thing that we'll want to do, because we're doing it in order, is we will want our domain models. We only want 3 files in there. And the good news is 2 of them are already here. All right. So we want to move employee into domain models. We want to move sale into domain models. And then we want to add user. So I'm going to do it the same way I did it before. I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to copy and paste. All right, and then we'll add the last one. So I'm going to remove from here employee, employee, and sale. All right. And we're going to add user into here in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at employee and make sure that everything is correct in there. And then we'll do the same thing for sale. Then we'll go in and add user. So for this, I'm just going to do a file, save all, and I'm going to bring up employee. All right. Our ID, first name, string length, and a first name. I cut these down. What they actually showed in the book was 100, but I don't think that's going to matter. You're not going to have anybody with a name, first name or last name bigger than that anyway. Okay. Okay, that looks okay. Remember, that's the day the company started, so you've got to be hired after, on that date or after. And Ada Lovelace will be the one who does not have a manager in here. Yeah, that looks fine the way that it is. And there's no errors in there, so I'm just going to do a file, save all, and close that one. And then I'm going to open up sale.cs and do the same thing, and then we'll make user. Yeah, that looks fine as well. So file, save all on there. And I'm going to close that. Now I'm going to come into here into domain models, and I'm going to add another class, and that will be user.cs. Now, as soon as we did that, or pretty soon at least, these should go away. All right. Okay. Oops. Get set. All right. Still hasn't fixed it. File. Save all. Everything that belongs in there. Now, we're going to do two things next. Okay. First, let's come in and go into app settings.json, and let's change the name of the database from quarterly sales. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it 16 because that's the chapter we're working on. I don't believe I've got a quarterly sales 16 in here. I shouldn't. I do. Well, it's going to be gone now. All right, it is gone. There, no more quarterly sales 16. All right. Now there's a bunch more stuff that we have to do. The order in which we do it, I have been doing this in, I have been putting this in basically, for lack of better words, just the regular in alphabetic order. All right. But what I want to do next is I think we should put in our view models. All right. So let's go into here. Let's go into view models. We now have we've got everything in our domain models, and we've got everything in our data access. We're going to have to make modifications to the validation. We'll do that in a bit. But let's go into view models. And we're going to make about 3 or 4 different view models in here right now. All right. Tell you for sure, we are going to make a total of 4. All right. So the first one that we're going to make is going to be a login view model. So let's right mouse click on here, add a class, and this will be login view model.cs. There it is. I'm going to make it 100. I know when I checked in the book, I think they made it 255. I don't see any reason to make it that big. Now, eventually what we want in here is a return URL so that if the user was not logged in, but tried to get to a certain page and we made them log in, then after they logged in, we want to return them to where they wanted to get originally. All right. Plus, we'll have remember me, and that remember me will create a persistent cookie so that we don't have to worry. Basically, it'll help us as far as logging in. And again, I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna end up getting some more things in here. You know this now by now that we could come in here and put question marks by all these things and make those go away. All right. I'm just going to leave them all the way that they are. All right. So that's the first one. That's our login view model. All right. Next, we're going to have a register view model, which is going to look pretty similar. Probably could have just copied this in off from the last one because we're going to have a password after that. But we'll also need, this will be the only time when you register that you'll need to do a confirm password. All right. So I'll copy this. Now, this is when we're registering, not when we're logging in. I'm sorry, this is when we are Yeah, registering. So we do want to put in here that the data type, and we'll put in data type dot password. We'll do it on both of these. So this will be for the password. Copy everything down and confirm password. All right. There's one more thing to add here. We have to determine whether the user is being added from the register link or from the add user link on the manage user page. Say that again. All right, we're going to create a Boolean that's called is from user manager. So we'll be able to tell whether that user was added via registering or, all right, from an add user link or from the manage users page. All right, so right there. That is the second of four. So we need a sales user list next. User is very short. Sales list, unfortunately, is not that short. All right, I want to check something, so give me just a second here. That may be why I did it like that. Okey-doke. Well, I'm going to do it exactly as it's shown right here, but I may have to change that later. We'll see. All right, we're going to have a couple drop downs. One that's going to list our employees and one that's going to list, I believe, our years. All right. Oh, oh. And I think we're also going to have one that's going to list our quarters. So, oh, oh. Oh. Um, descending. So we're going from the most, the last person hired to the first person hired, for lack of better words. I guess that's the only way I can think of putting it. So. And I'm looking on here, I've still got a bunch of errors for user on here, so. Putting a using statement in there, got all of them gone. So the only one we have in there now is that sales grid builder. All right. All right. There's one more to go here, and that's the user view model, and it's very short. It's just 3 or 4 lines. And that's going to mean that there's a using statement missing. There it is. Um, And that is it. All right. Are you back? I'm back. Are you?
Yes, I'm still here.
All right. If for some reason, now hold on a second. All right. If for some reason, and I don't want to do this because you busted your butt today and so have I, but if for some reason this didn't tape, I just don't have a voice that I can go out there and do this for 3 more hours. So what I'll do is I'll provide basically almost the entire models thing for everybody and anybody who needs it. So are you still out there?
Yes, I'm still here. I can't see your
Good.
screen yet.
Okay.
And on my
All right.
screen, the recording is showing almost 2 hours, so I think it's.
Yeah, that's my hope. But
Yeah,
it's
on my
done
end, it
that
looks like it's
before.
recorded.
It's done that before where it says that, but then it cut it off partway through.
Right.
I mean, I've probably a good half dozen times this semester I've had to go back and re-lecture. Not fun. All right. So as of right now, then, we have done the data access. We have done the domain models. We
Mr.
have
Scott,
done the
we still
view
can't see your
models.
screen.
What's that?
I still can't see your screen.
All righty. How about now?
Yes, no.
Okay.
Now it's good.
All right. All right. So the next one that we're going to do is we're going to come in here and do these extension methods. All right. There are 3 of them. All right. So the first one is called query extensions. So I'm going to close everything I've got open here. Right? And under extension methods, again, the first one I'm going to add is called query extensions, and it's going to be a class. This will be static, meaning we will not have to create an instance of it. See. Bring this down. All right, see if we can figure out these errors here. That helped a bit, huh? Let's see. And the good news is that one error that we had before that I commented out the page by, it's finding it here. So my hope is that when we go back and try to, okay, which I just commented out, so we'll have to find that in a bit, that we'll be able to uncomment that line. All right, so that's the first one. The next one is session extension methods. Again, not very long. So let's close this. And again, this will also be static. And all right, it isn't finding this, which means there's probably a using missing. Thought there was at least. Okay, let's see. Using here. All right, this might be one we have to bring in then. I don't remember. So hold on a sec. This is all fine, but I'm going to go back into tools, new get package manager, and I want to browse in here for newtonsoft.json. There it is. Now the latest version is 1303. Technically, since we're working with JSON, that should work. But let's see if we get an error that it's incompatible with some of the other stuff that's been done. All right. Looks like it took it. So brought that in. So that looks good. right? You have all that?
Yes, I got it.
Right. All right, one more extension method here, and it will be string extensions. Hmm. Hmm. So what is wrong here? Wow. Know why this keeps adding. There we go. All right. Class string extensions. The reason we're getting the error is string extensions is expecting more methods than this. We've got a couple more methods to write. All of them are short. All right. And again, we're trying to make sure we have friendly URLs. So we're getting rid of any spaces. We're replacing them with dashes. Okay. So first one. And this class should be static. Yeah, I guess that's why I was getting the error. So make sure you make the class static, please. And again, that just means that we're never creating an object of that type, but we're able to use the methods of the class. Nice. Okay, try that again. All right. Get rid of that. String to compare, that's all correct. There you go. One more, 2 lines long. Don't want this. This straight yes. Yes, question mark. Are you all caught up?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
All right. So again, we only have the one error, plus I've got to fix that one thing that we commented out. So save all. I'm going to close this. And I'm going to go over to validation. There already is stuff in there, but I think we're going to have to make some changes as far as what is in here to some of the code because of the stuff we've added. All right. So we'll start by looking at the greater than attribute. Okay. All right. Add L. All right, we do have to make some changes here. The first change is after this public, after you write the constructor. All right, so right after the constructor, which is fine the way it is, put in public string field name. This is going to be a property. Okay. Right there. So, int. We've got right now int double and date time, I believe, in here. Yep. We're going to add a new one right in here before the int. All right. And that is, we're going to check on this is valid. We're going to check for the field name being null or empty right here. So I'm adding right here, starting in line 18. So for validating, we were coming in and just seeing if the thing was an integer, and I don't think that's changed. And then we were checking to see if it's a double, and that hasn't changed. And then we were seeing if it's a date time, and I don't believe that has changed. All right. Otherwise, we just return success. We've got this down at the bottom. So what's new in here are two things. We added this field name property in here so we could check. All right. And basically, we're just going to be comparing types in here to make sure we're comparing apples with apples, however you want to refer to that. Okay.
I've got all that. Thank you.
All right. Then we've got that past due date is in there. I don't know if that one changed at all. One of them didn't change. I know for sure. Thought it was this one, but let's see. Date check, date time value return. It's less than today. Turn success. Yeah, that looks good as far as I can tell the way it is. And then the last one that's in here, we did the greater than. And the last one, I think, is just the regular validate that's in there, I believe. Yep. See if that changed at all. Yeah, this will have changes to it. All right. So this is the check employee. This is all going to change. These will all get fixed momentarily, but I'm just doing it from the top. Let's just move this down for now. Check this out here. So, all right. Our employee equals data dot get options. If it's null, return nothing. Otherwise, return, yep, that looks good. So I'll keep that up for a second, and then we'll check out the manager-employee match next.
I'm sorry, I might have missed something. Did you bring anything, any using statements or anything?
This one got added for me.
Okay. Yeah, same here. Okay, my only error is just under options. It says it doesn't exist in the current context, but
Right here.
no, on line 17.
Here. You spelled it correctly, I take it, right?
No, I didn't. I had option and options. That was it. Thank you.
That's coming from a guy who has done it thousands of times. So, all right, let's look at the next one then, which is to check the employee match. That's okay. Let's check sales. Yeah, and this one had to change also, kind of like the other one just did. So I'm going to remove this and retype basically. Again, we'll use options just like before. That's an L. I think that was an L, wasn't it? Yep. Which means so is that. Year equal SL dot year and S dot employee ID equal SL dot employee ID. And that. Okay, what doesn't it like here? Oh goodness. That should have been unit of work here. Called data. right, that'll now let me come in here and do this. Those are null, return null. Otherwise, this is now data dot employees dot get. Whoops, dot employees dot get. Now let me check one thing and I'll come right back down to this. Okay, looks good. Are you caught up?
Yes, I am.
Now, the only thing that we have left to do in here, because we've done a heck of a lot already, and that is to add the grid. And that's about 200 more lines of code. So unless you have a problem with it, I'd like to pick it up there tomorrow and go right from there into the controllers and then right from the controllers into the views. That makes sense?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay. All right. Thanks for sticking around as always. I'm going to do a file, save all, and we'll see. If this works, it'll be out there within an hour. If it doesn't, I'm not going to be happy. Talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.
Okay, talk to you tomorrow.